Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. What am I saying? Time is relative anyway. LOKI Special number 2 will be on right after these songs.
Walking down the street, chickens blowing kisses. Never thought I'd end up 28 without a missus. Yet here we are, yeah, it's totally a thing. Making this movie about my life in quarantine. Started out hype, living life as a pirate. Then it got eclectic as time began to riot. Filmed my thoughts, what a terrible idea. Had a party over Zoom and got diarrhea. Ran out of toilet paper, life felt like forfeit. Turn on the news, an invasion of hornets. That's when it really truly started to unravel. I truly wish I could go motherfracking travel like toilet paper Jesus. Toilet paper Jesus. Toilet paper Jesus. Toilet paper Jesus. I wanna be a vagabond, maybe on a Cylon. I should have killed them hornets with a motherfracking mask on. Covered in ketchup, man, I think I messed up. Need a therapist that will help me fill my loving cup. No, not with beer, they really need to steer this conversation with myself a light year away from fear that need to poop and seize us. Sorry socks, it don't please us. Holy fracking crap, is that toilet paper Jesus? Toilet paper Jesus. 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 Toilet paper Jesus.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, June 17, 2021. Welcome to LOKI Special, Episode 2 of LightsThunderAction, where every week two Thunder buddies discuss all things Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and the latest happenings in the entertainment industry. I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
My name's David Thompson, and today we've got a fun show planned for y'all. It is Loki Discussion, Episode 2, The Variant. And right off the bat, I absolutely loved this episode. We'll be joined by a very special guest in just one moment. But before that, Thomas, what do you have for me?
Not yet.
What's up?
There it is. Do I sound better now?
Yes, you do sound better now. You fixed it.
Man, that was such a good intro, too. Wasted on technology. It's been a day with that. Or a life. Or time. We'll get to that. What do I have for you? It looks like it was deleted from the show notes. It's not. Every week we're live streaming directly into your homes and phones via Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Maybe not Twitter, actually. We I don't know. That's weird, David, what you sent me. We might not be live on Twitter right now. We might be.
Seems
question
like
mark.
Seems like Periscope may be malfunctioning right now. We'll troubleshoot that at a later date.
Here's a fun fact. Periscope is actually dead. I'm surprised it actually even let me do what I did. So, hey, maybe it's officially dead. If so, like, resquiatat in pace, amen. But the HWWS Web TV carries us on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and their Twitter, if Twitter's still alive. And of course, you can find all of our LightsThunderAction links and live stream locations at Linktr.com/LightsThunderAction. All one word, no hyphens, no spaces. But if you don't want to see our ugly mugs every week or twice a week now, David, where can they listen to our beautiful voices when the mic is actually on the right one?
Yes, you guys can check out our audio versions of our live Lights Thunder Action shows, all on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, our hosting site Spreaker, and a variety of other places online. Basically, wherever you find your audio podcast, we hope it's there. If it's not, please let one of us know, and I will work on that. But our full catalog of all of our live shows, interviews. Right now, we're doing 2 shows a week because we're doing Loki specials, just like today. Our first one up with Richard Nedman from last week is up on Apple Podcasts and all those other places. So if you want to listen to the audio podcast, driving your car, going for a run, caught one half of the live show, want to catch up later, but don't want to look at our ugly mugs, go check out our audio version of our podcast. If you don't mind, or if you're feeling generous, give us 5 stars, follow, subscribe, keep up with it. Leave us a little review if you're feeling generous. We appreciate all of that.
Absolutely. David, I was reviewing this. I realized it's interesting because we're missing one person. It's weird. It's like we're supposed to have a guest. So, beaming in from Ontario, Canada, writer extraordinaire from the Direct, the Illuminati, the Mary Sue, and Murphy's Multiverse, Julia Delbel.
There we go.
Wow, the mic's working now, Thomas. I'll tell you, it's working now. Julia, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Well, I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Hey, I thought we're not. I think this episode was amazing. I absolutely love Loki. Just to kind of jump into it just briefly here, I'm so excited to talk about this because I think Falcon the Winter Soldier didn't have as much speculation around it like WandaVision did. And to me, this show is kind of the perfect balance where this show is moving at a clip where like each episode feels like it's going to be its own kind of unique story that pushes everything forward. And I absolutely just loved this episode. Happy to have you join us here, Julia, because I know you have a lot of knowledge on all this. Miss Minutes herself from the direct.com. Thomas, how are you doing today?
Good. It's midday. It's not the end of the day when the sun's past the tree line. So it's very hot in here with all the fans off. I have now watched Loki 3 times since 2 a.m. yesterday. I got about 10 hours of sleep, aka 10 hours of my life just went away. It was sleeping like a lug. I had a 20-hour day. I'm all jacked up on fruit smoothies because I was able to go food shopping, which was very nice. Very nice to have. David, how are you doing? Have I asked you that yet? I don't know. It's been a long day.
I don't know either, but I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Happy to be here. It's a beautiful Thursday, and I'm excited for the weekend. Beautiful Thursday. Going home to visit my family this weekend because it's going to be Father's Day and all that, but pretty exciting. I know we don't have it in the show notes, but it looks like Black Widow's pretty good. According to the embargo dropped for Twitter, I guess, whatever, tweets about the movie, they can show their like impressions or their kind of quick thoughts on it. That looks pretty good. So that's exciting. The MCU's looking up right now. I feel like it's all positive, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thomas, you got anything else?
Julia, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just kind of transitioning school semesters right now because I study like 11 months of the year now, I guess. August is my month off, so that's coming up soon. And I'm just doing more work for the Direct and all my other sites. The Direct is mostly what I've been doing Loki stuff on, so I mentioned them, and also because David's on it. But yeah, got some Lucas stuff coming up on Illuminati. I got to watch that a couple weeks ago. That was really cool. Yeah, that's coming out tomorrow. So that's a Disney Pixar thing. But yeah, other than that, I'm just enjoying it. I managed to watch the episode again right before we did this because I saw on Twitter, Thomas was saying you were going to watch it. I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't watched it since a week and a half ago. But it feels like so much shorter than that. Because I was pressed, by the way, for Loki, technically, sort of. Well, yeah, I went to the press conference, so I did get to watch the episodes, the first two, twice. So everyone's caught up to where I am now, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun being like, oh, I know something you don't know, but I do like it when everyone catches up. Yeah. And we all get to talk about it. And I don't have to worry about what I'm spoiling or not spoiling. Because I almost accidentally sent people's messages to certain Tumblr things last week. I'm like, oh yeah, that episode hasn't actually aired yet. Never mind.
Yeah.
They were speculating on something. I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. I don't know.
Oof. That sounds tough.
Honestly, I mean, there was times, I think especially during WandaVision, where my schedule had it so I was having to watch the episodes kind of later in the day. And I just had to like delete Twitter off my phone and just like tell myself not to go on there. I know like in our Slack channel for the direct, it's like, I mean, we preface it, but you also want to be a part of those conversations so much. So I can imagine everyone that had, I can't imagine having seen both episodes, especially with the ending of episode 2 weeks ago and having to be hush hush about it. Cause like, I feel like at least at the direct, like, you know this, Julia, like there's been so many just like ideas and articles and theories and just like things to talk about and write about and like kind of just produce that it's crazy that that's been bottled up for a couple of weeks now, but I'm excited everyone's now on the same page. And to me, it makes it even more exciting going into episode 3 where no one really knows what's going on in that. Like there's like no one's really seen that one. So I really truly cannot wait.
Yeah, it's I think we saw the perfect amount. I think 2 is the perfect amount because we got 1 for Falcon, and then I'm like, what can we even say about this one episode? They didn't even interact, so like, I'm glad we got 2 so we could see some actual time travel stuff going on.
Totally. No, I mean that's a third of the show, and I know some people describe the second episode as kind of a plot or like a pilot 2.0. I don't know if I really agree with that analysis or that like description of it. I get where it's like the first time we kind of see him as a TVA agent, but I didn't see it really as much of a pilot because I think we'll get to it in a second if you want to do an ad break, Thomas. But I think going after this episode, I mean, just the end of it, the show is just shifted. It's turned like the objective, how we're going to be like perceiving these characters, the journey we're going to go on, I think is different than maybe what we expected after the end of episode 1. At least for those of us that just saw 1 first, waited a week, and then saw 2. But yeah.
Interesting that I think that they dropped the first 2 of this in the same way that they dropped the first 3 for WandaVision for the press, because it gives you like, okay, I think I have an idea of what's going to be going on now. Like if they'd have dropped episode 1 and then that was it for Loki, you're like, Loki's going to be straight up helping the TVA like we thought. But then they gave y'all 2, so y'all know, Loki's still going to do Loki things, but his motivations might have changed drastically since the beginning of 1, which is kind of a nice play, where you just like he's changed, but still changing. He's not at his final destination yet, which is totally all part of the journey. But we got bills to pay because we don't get to sweat in this house for free. Actually, I do. Thanks to my boy, Tyler. Labyrinth art. It's all his. Got to give props to my dude. Secondary art right here. Secondary. My art. Thor cap. That's from J Bauer Art, which, wait a minute. You can learn about him like right now. J Bauer Art has the graphic design skills you need to develop your next logo and at an affordable price. But he's not just a one-trick pony. Follow J Bauer Art on social media to interact during live paintings and see all of his previous artwork, which you can buy exclusively at jbauerartshop.com. Not only is he an artist, this beautiful son of a blue brings you the Back Talk with Bauer podcast every week with unique guests. And every month he hosts a special Back Talk with Friends episode that can only be described as chaotic and hilarious. Need a video intro or commercial? J Bauer Art has you covered. For all of this and more, follow J Bauer Art on social media. That's JBAUERART. Check out jbauerart.com for a full portfolio and jbauerartshop.com to buy that special painting for you and your loved ones.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Welcome, Glasscock Park, to this glorious day.
Today is your lucky day. We got some great stuff. This is Glasscock Park. Marvelous.
Thank you.
Come on, let's go, let's go. I don't have all day, people.
Now, it's time.
Tell your friends, huh?
A small-town coroner has to team up with her ex-fiancé to save her town from a swarm of mutant honeybees. There's action, drama, humor, maybe even a flamethrower or two. There's definitely a ton of bad bee puns and a very unlikely Hawaiian-wearing hero, dude. This classic sci-fi featured cheese fest, written and directed by Alicia Marie and starring local talent from the Emerald Coast, has finished filming and invites you to join the remaining journey by visiting linktree.com/zombies the movie. That's linktree.com/zombies the movie. And we're back.
We're back.
We're back. David, before we do anything, gotta check the comments. Things are happening. Terry McIver, he has all the words. He's everywhere. He says we are live on Twitter. So that's maybe not in America. I don't know. It didn't pop up on mine. It said broadcast was available.
Yeah, that's what mine said too. Who knows?
Awkward. But hey, if you're our international fans, you know, people saw.
In all honesty, Thomas, me and you having it work we're the least important people to see it.
Very true. Yeah. I
It
can't
does
really
look
watch
like
it.
it works,
while
I
I'm
should
on it.
say.
Huh?
It does look like it works. I was just on Twitter, like,
Oh.
tweeting out that I'm on this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I see the video.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, then
So it
Wait.
just doesn't like us.
that's all that matters.
Beautiful. Great. Happy Thursday, Terry says. Randy Stewart, multiple Lokis and multiple versions is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah,
I
it is.
agree. Evan Lanier, your boy, says, looks like I'll listen to this later as I have not yet seen Loki.
I know. I'm getting on him about that. Like, just come on.
Safety.
He was the kind. He was on top of WandaVision. Stop with the Rebels. Rebels is an old animated show. This is a brand new live action Loki show. He was on top of
Still?
WandaVision. He was on top of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And to me, in my opinion, this is the best one so far. At least it seems it's going to be the best one so far. And I'm like, come on, keep up with this. And it's only 6 episodes. Like, give me a break. It's so much fun to discuss and talk about. And I think from here on, it's going to get even better. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about Loki, episode 2, The Variant. A really good title. I saw a tweet. It said, it seems that's very Mandalorian-esque, like The Variant. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, I like that. Thomas, you want to hit me with some What the News intro? Because we do have one little bit off the top just about Loki.
You know I love to do it. You don't have my script. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing it live. What the news?
What the news, ladies and gentlemen. So I think Deadline reported this initially. Disney Plus is completely shifting Disney is completely shifting Disney Plus's
language. Awkward.
It's completely shifting their, I guess, release method or strategy, where now all of their original shows, not movies are still going to come out on Friday. Like Luca or Black Widow, stuff like that.
Yes.
That's going to be on Friday still, but all of their original content, it can be non-scripted, scripted. Like, for instance, Monsters at Work, I think begins in July. That's something that'll now come out on a Wednesday instead of a Friday. So for not just Loki, every other Disney Plus piece of content series, Wednesdays are the new Fridays. I guess this is in response to how well Loki's performing. I mean, I don't know if it all has to do with the day of the week, but initially when I saw the report, I thought, I guess that makes sense because on Wednesdays, they're probably less likely people are heading out to do things over the weekend or would be less busy. I don't know. That's in the middle of the week. I know oftentimes, like, I remember back in the day when I watched Flash religiously, that was Tuesday nights, mark my calendar. I was going to be there. One thing that I wish came along with this report and this shift was that the episodes wouldn't post at 3 a.m. Eastern time. That I feel like is still a mistake. I don't care. Like, I understand the logic and the ease of, and just kind of like, it's simple and straightforward. Okay, at midnight Pacific, where Disney's like headquarters are located, that's when it posts. It posts exactly on, say, Wednesday. But I remember, at least back for Game of Thrones, when an episode would, it was obviously on cable on HBO, but the streaming would drop. I believe it was at 9 p.m. Eastern. I think that would be perfect for shows like this. And I think there is that collective watching kind of like effort that happens on Twitter. It'd be so much greater if it was actually at a time where,
everyone was at the same time.
Here in the United States. I mean, this is selfishly, Disney Plus is an international entity, but in the United States, at least, it would be nice if it wasn't 3 a.m. Eastern for me here on the East Coast. I know you, Thomas, it's Central Time. So that's 2 a.m.
2 a.m., which I woke up at 2 a.m. to watch Loki before going to work.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Listen, I have to support my brother. What can I say?
True. Julia, you saw this little bit of news. What did you think of it?
I'm not really surprised by it, especially because movie theaters are starting to open in different parts of the world, unless you're in Ontario right now. I know Ontario is not the only place. I'm just saying they're not open here yet. And new movies open Fridays, and then Thursday night is the preview night for a lot of the movies. So it makes sense that the shows wouldn't be on either one of those days now that the movies are coming out this day, especially because Disney has a movie, at least one under one of its studios, coming out every month. And we don't want the shows to get in the way of the movies and movies to get in the way of the shows. They want attention on both, obviously. So yeah, Wednesday I think is a good day for it. It makes the shows also seem like they come faster because you have the 2-chunk day of the weekdays after at the weekend, and then another 2-chunk day of just work week or whatever, and then the show comes on. So it's like it feels like the first episode of Loki came very the second episode of Loki came very fast after the first.
Yeah.
And it just didn't feel that way with the other shows on Disney Plus that have come out other days. I don't know. And I mean, even for me, it felt fast. And I saw it Saturday early morning. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels very fast. And yeah, I think it'll be good all around. Who knows?
It's funny. I agree with that. For some reason, the Wednesday to Wednesday rotation or calendar comes up a little bit quicker for me. I felt like Friday, you're kind of working your way through the week just to get to Friday, and then finally it dropped. At least for this one, it felt like it was a little quicker for whatever reason. And I think, the bottom line why Disney would do this, for what you said, kind of separating it from those Friday movie releases, making it a definitive day. And then also Loki, in other reports, which is, I guess, kind of a separate discussion, it's performing so well, better than any other Disney Plus show. And it's not just because it's on a Wednesday, but they have to figure it's at least not taking away from it. Maybe they were worried, moving it from Friday to Wednesday would take away from the viewership. It's done the exact opposite. Thomas, you saw this. What did you think?
I wish it weren't the 3 a.m. It's really my only thing. Waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning sucks every time. I went to bed at 10 last night, so that's 20 hours. That sounds like math. So it's exhausting, and I watched it twice yesterday. I watched it when I woke up, and I watched it before I went to bed, and then it ended, and I laid down and was like, that was very satisfying.
Right.
Let's see what I remember. So that's my only gripe. I'm not surprised they're moving it to Wednesdays. It sounds like here's my thing. obviously. You don't watch The Bad Batch, David. It's a live show that comes on now, current, and it's animated, and it's tied into that Clone Wars thing you watched. So I don't see why you're not doing it. Evan, back me up. I know you don't watch the Star Wars, Evan, but like back me up here. Fact is, sure. Okay, let's do it, I guess. As long as I'm just confused. Will like animated shows come out on Wednesdays? It doesn't even make sense. When would the kid be able to watch it?
I don't know.
It's in the middle of the week. That's my thing. I'm wondering if they're trying to push animation on Fridays because, well, they'll have the whole weekend to watch it and they're kids. And then the adults are going to be like, well, I'm going to watch it whenever I want to watch it. Like me, I'm going to wake up early on Friday mornings and I'm going to watch it before I go to work.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're like animated live action. Basically just any kind of series that's not a film, it's going to be on Wednesdays. And honestly, like to that point, it kind of feels like Disney's in some ways is like, here you go, here it is. Like you can get it whenever you want. Like the fact they don't make it at least they really don't hype up like a time for Loki or for any of these shows, like this day, you know? So anytime that day you can check it out, but it's not like tune in 8/7 Eastern. Like that used to be or like 8/7 Central used to be the whole big thing. Like growing up, like watching just like whatever nowadays on network television. Like it's this time Disney Plus day. That's when it's available. You can check it out then. Whenever you want to check it out, you can check it out. I mean, that's kind of
I don't like it.
In a way, it's kind of. I mean, we're kind of going deep down this rabbit hole with streaming stuff, but it's kind of leaning more into and showing the future of what streaming is going to be, where it's less of premiere time. It's more of a premiere date, and you can watch it whenever you want to watch it, and that's kind of part of the whole direct consumer package that we're getting. You know, it's and Netflix is even worse, where it's just the entire show, which I normally actually do prefer binging it, is just out on a certain day at midnight or whatever, 3 a.m. and you can watch the entire thing at your own pace. Julia, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think you reacted to this when I shared it on the direct Slack. But there was a report that Disney Plus is considering doing binge releases of certain shows. Obviously, it will not be Star Wars or Marvel shows.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe What If, but I don't think so because apparently that's the most tracking, highest anticipated thing. I don't know why, but it is for Marvel. But on the Disney Plus, at least.
Yeah.
But but they're doing. I can see it happening for some shows because I think it would get more attention that way if it was like a whole season of certain things, but not for like the headliners. But yeah, because like some shows tend to like fade into the background. Like there's a show on there I really like called Big Shot, and it's releasing weekly, and there's less buzz about that. I really like that show, but maybe if it all came out at the same time and everyone was like watching it and like talking about it that way, it's just weird how it works like that for for some shows, but not others. It's just so I'm glad they're being more flexible. I can even imagine that they'll have shows coming out on multiple days once they have enough stuff in production on Disney Plus. So it won't just be Wednesday. Maybe they'll do like Tuesday or Monday or whatever.
Yeah.
In addition to movie Fridays and, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday would be Disney Plus would be a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's, to that point, I think it's smart that they would, just like you said, go where some shows it's you binge it, you drop all of them at the same time. Like I watch High School Musical series. That show does not need to be weekly. Trust me. Like if you gave me the whole season, I would finish it in a week or two and I'd be just as satisfied. It's not this like crazy anticipation like a Marvel or Star Wars. Like these are, you mark your calendar for it. You really get ready for it. At least we do. And like,
at least are there theories with this High School Musical thing?
What is it?
Are there theories with the High School Musical series? Like if there's not really theories or debate, like or anything like that, I don't think it's really worth it. I don't know.
There's less theories. I mean, there's definitely less theories than say Loki, but there's definitely. I think it's just kind of Disney doing what they want to do with doing weekly instead of the Netflix model. That's kind of like what they've been doing since day one. So they made all their shows like that. This new report saying that they might switch that up, I think is smart because for some shows it might not need it. But for High School Musical, I would say there is definitely some anticipation depending on the week. Sometimes there's a cliffhanger or there's kind of like relational stuff to talk about and like watch TikToks about and kind of like, do the whole thing and talk about the drama, but less theorizing and more just like, leave it off on a, a crazy, like not a crazy note, but like a uncertain note with these two characters' relationship and stuff like that.
Oh, so there's shipping wars that they gotta milk. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And there is
Just like the Flash.
there is theorizing with some of the I'd say with some of the maybe like love triangles. I don't know. It doesn't go that crazy though. It's really not. It's really unnecessary. I mean, if you think about all those Netflix shows that have come out, they've been so popular, and they dumped the whole thing at once. It's crazy to think that when Stranger Things season 4 comes out, it's all gonna be here like that. And Witcher season 2.
It's a movie. Oh no.
What's that?
I haven't watched season 1 of The Witcher.
Oh, it's really confusing.
What? Really?
Witcher season 1 was like
literally sold me on that right now.
It's the most like confusing season of TV I've ever seen that I actually enjoyed. I had to watch like maybe 3 YouTube videos afterwards to understand what I was looking at. Because the issue with that too, unlike week to week, where maybe it would have been easier to understand because you have a week to process, watch videos, read articles. The whole thing's dropping, and you're on episode 4, and your buddy's on episode 6. And you guys are seeing things a whole different way, and it's just like you're on the different level. And that show, did you watch Witcher, Julia?
I haven't. I was going to, then I heard it was really complicated. I'm like, oh no, do I have to play the game first? Like, I'm always worried whenever there's an adaptation. Like, do I have to do this first? That's why I didn't get into superhero movies till like Avengers, like the first Avengers came out, because I thought I had to understand all this other crap, or at least I want to, because like, again, I didn't really appreciate like the Marvel stuff till I saw all the other stuff, like the movies that came before it. Like, that's just how I am.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it would probably be the same with Witcher. So yeah, I can imagine that would be tough. And the thing is, with those articles for like series that I'll drop at once, like I used to watch, like my favorite thing on Netflix I've ever watched. I mean, I watch a lot of stuff. I really love the series Unfortunate Events thing they did. And like I had read most of the books. I think I read the books mostly up to close to the end of season 2. So it's like I wasn't really worried about spoilers too much with the first season and everything. But like when you get to like the second and third season, I'm like, okay, well I haven't read the books, but I want to read an article about this episode, but I don't want spoilers for this episode. And like it's harder to get content out there and find content, and like you have to, it's all or nothing when it all just drops.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very difficult.
For content creation, like at least I know just from experience with the direct, like if it all dropped at one time, that'd be way, way worse for us.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah, the weekly thing is so much better. I mean, and it's great, really, because it stretches out these MCU projects so much further than a movie ever will.
Yeah.
Yes. And, bringing it back into the topic of Disney Plus being spellbound about Loki's Day, on the positive side, because obviously I was being a selfish bitch earlier, it's actually really smart because that, Wednesdays are the day before movies actually drop in theaters.
Yeah.
Like David has messaged me like, hey, we have to work on these 3 Thursday dates because I'm going to see these movies. And I'm like, wish I could afford movies. So that's brilliant, especially because, your Thursday to Sunday is going to be going to see new movies, spending time with friends. You got a lot going on. And then you have Monday, which always sucks. You got Monday Night Football for, football nerds like me. Tuesday is when new digital movies release on Vudu. So Disney Plus could maybe, if they wanted to, wanted to save some things, they could like, oh, here's hype on Tuesday. You get this new movie that was in theaters months ago.
No, you know what they're really avoiding, Thomas? No. iCarly and Paramount Plus now drops on Thursdays. That's what they're really avoiding here. They want to get.
Dropping what? Are they dropping 3 episodes of that a week, or is that just this week they were dropping?
It's 3. I haven't watched any of it yet, but it's 3 today, and then 1 from here on out. Kind of like they did kind of like Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I saw some people on Twitter like being like, "Why are you doing that?" or whatever. But I think it's because Paramount Plus doesn't really have a lot of like
to get people sucked in.
Hype attention.
Yeah.
So like that's what they have right now. So they kind of got to stretch it out. So I do kind of get it because it's Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it should totally just drop at once. I think if they have more content, if they do another season.
Yeah, they're working on it.
It's going to be interesting. What's going to happen? I think HBO Max is also going to do the weekly content. They're not going to do the, and today David doesn't give 2 shits at all, but Titans season 3 trailer. Yeah. We're doing Death in the Family. We did it. We've done it. We've gotten to Death in the Family being in live action, and the Red Hood, and Nightwing looking actually like Nightwing. Let's go, baby. Cannot wait. But back to Marvel, ladies and gentlemen. That's the news. We talked all the news. So now it's time to dive into the plot.
Thomas, do you want to? You wrote out the plot this week. I kind of want to see you go through it.
Damn. All right. I think I was trying to count. I think I got 11 bullet points on the plot. Hunter C20 kicks everyone's ass to the tune of In Need of a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. I'm pretty sure I got that name wrong because I'm tired and I don't know how to read. But
that was some crazy.
Third time in a week we've heard that song attached to something awesome. We'll get to that in a future episode. Bad Loki takes a Hunter C20. Loki powers breakdown. They talk fast and I write terribly, so I got shape-shifting, illusion projection, duplication casting. There was a couple others. We'll dive deep into that because I think we all have thoughts there.
Yeah.
Loki tries to play Mobius for an audience with the Timekeepers and fails. Mobius gets final approval from the Renslayer to keep Loki on the case, and she seems very peeved to be asked about the Timekeepers. My guess, she hasn't met them yet either. Loki tries to hustle live-action Roz from Monsters, Inc., also fails there. Loki explains how Variant is hiding in Apocalypse, which is fun. Mobius and Loki discuss existence and religion. Nice. They find the variant, at level 10 Apocalypse Hurricane in Alabama, a category 8. Not nice at all. Loki and Bad Loki exchange barbs, and then Bad Loki is Lady Loki and Thor was right. Asterisk.
Yeah. A couple of points on the plot.
On the plot. Yes, sir.
I loved one thing when they show up to Alabama and we get that transition of like the tornado taking out that sign. That was just such a cool shot. I love the fact that they travel in time forward, just as a time, like a time traveling kind of geek. I like the idea of them traveling back in time, like the Pompeii scene. First off, that was awesome. That was this episode featured. This show features so many individual great scenes between Loki and Owen Wilson, Mobius. The Pompeii, I loved that scene. First off, like him, nothing matters, blah blah blah, like go free, like and him talking about. I love those meta kind of moments with Loki because he kind of takes the role of the audience or the fan watching. Like, are you guys from the future? You seem future-y. Like it's so funny. Like, how does this work? Blah blah blah. Like this seems like bullshit. Like this seems like an illusion. And we're all sitting there like, yeah, this does seem like an illusion. Like you said with the Renslayer, that moment to me was another point at. First off, Mobius has never met the Timekeepers. Renslayer either knows what's going on or like it knows kind of like the deeper truth and is kind of like protecting them. And there's also the moment when Loki's looking him. Yeah, Loki's true. Loki's looking for Loki's looking for information, and there's like it's all classified future and past events. And to me, I'm like, are they classified? Do they even exist? Because all these TVA agents seem like, outside of Mobius almost, I mean, they have personalities. They're all kind of like robotic and don't, I feel like, even Mobius seems to have a greater understanding. Like you talked about that moment when Loki brilliantly, realizes the loophole of apocalypses and how you can like sneak around in them. Because like whatever happens before them, it doesn't matter because it all gets wiped away. So you can hide out in them if you want to. And such a great metaphor for the salad, such a funny scene. But as he talked about, Mobius talking about, where are you from? Some god of the heavens and these giant frost giants. Like, how are we any different? That was such a great, deep moment in this show where it's funny. Like, it makes me really excited for Doctor Strange because it's written by Michael Waldron. I feel like the writing of this show is really, in my opinion, the number one strength of it so far. The fact that it's not completely confusing and stupid is a win because like they do a great balance of this crazy sci-fi confusing, to be honest, in some aspects, especially for MCU fans that read everything, like read into every little thing. Especially like for myself, one thing I've had a hard time getting over, kind of rambling on here a second, but is just the time traveling in Loki compared to Endgame, where we had to understand these rules of Endgame, and it took a while to kind of understand them and get it. And like, what did Steve Rogers do when he goes back? Was he in another was he in a parallel thing? And then you get to the Loki, and it's like, all right, there's a sacred timeline, and it's actually a little more traditional time travel rules. It seems like in Loki, but I digress. I think it's great that they can go through all those confusing bits and then still come back to scenes like Loki watching his life play out, seeing his mother die, seeing what he thinks is him and Thor dying, and the emotions on his face. I almost said yesterday's episode, him having a tear in his eye when he sees Ragnarok and Asgard, falling. And then just that scene between him and Mobius and talking about like kind of existence and what does that mean and where we all come from. So I guess kind of on the general plot, any thoughts of what I just said or anything from you, Julia, on this episode?
You kind of went like all over the place there.
I do. It's what I do.
Tangent town.
Okay. Well, I thought it was really good, this episode. I won't talk about the cliffhanger yet, but I'll say this. I think after last episode had a lot of like, we watched Loki cry. I don't know if we ever saw him cry in the MCU. I don't even think he cried when his mom died in Dark World. Like, you saw him messed up, but I don't think you saw him cry or anything. And then in this, this is like, after all that, we got the emotional stuff. And I'm sure we're going to get more emotional stuff, but this is like, we're actually seeing him kind of happy and in a place where he's like somewhat valued. I mean, like, at least Mobius seems to value him as much as he puts up a front about it in this one. But yeah, like, it's just, he's having fun. You actually really get to see him like do all his crazy stuff because, like, I don't know. I know a lot of fans like prefer when he's like very emo boy sad. It's like he's the god of moping and not the god of mischief. But like, no, this is actual mischief we have here. We have him doing the Pompeii thing. We have him like the awkward trying to cover up his tracks when he's talking to Mobius after the first mission. He's in a situation where it's like he's not totally in control, which is interesting because he always seems like he always at least acts like he's in control of everything, but like in this one he kind of has to admit that he isn't. But he also seems to be enjoying himself more than he has in a lot of the other project where he's like rolling his eyes all the time. Like, he's trying to get the TVA to like lighten up and like embrace the chaos and have fun, which is really good. I really like this episode. I thought it was really funny because of that. And I just thought it was really good.
Yeah, it really is. And I think you see the Rick and Morty isms to it as well as a fan of that show. And Michael Waldron's kind of like handprints are all over it. And it makes me excited for Doctor Strange, especially because that film's going to be a little more, seems serious, but it's, the comedy's still going to be there because they keep talking about horror with that movie. And
I don't think there's, I think every time I hear horror with Doctor Strange, I'm like, they said it's based on horror movies, but they didn't promise it was a horror movie. They just said it's scarier than most MCU movies.
Exactly.
Meaning,
not
like,
much.
Some people are going to go in expecting, like, I don't know if they're going to expect, like, The Conjuring or something. Like, that's not what this is.
Yeah.
And I'm really worried about the reaction to that based on that. But, like, that's a year away. We'll see. But that's something I've been thinking about. Because every time I hear horror induction, I'm like, no, it's not a horror movie, probably. Although I know Raimi's directing now, so maybe they'll let him do it. I don't know. I know Derrickson is a horror director as well, so maybe he was
exactly.
Who knows? Sorry, I just want to bring that up. It drives me nuts every time it comes up.
No, I agree.
Not that you were saying it. Just
No. I was going to go that same direction where it's like, there's no chance. I would be stunned if like IMDb lists this under like sci-fi horror. It's going to be, sci-fi adventure action. Because, okay, I could see there can totally be really cool elements to a Doctor Strange movie called The Multiverse of Madness with Scarlet Witch now in her new form. They have a lot of possibilities to maybe have some of those elements, but that's exactly it. Elements. It's not an MCU film. It's not going to be this like horror movie. It might be a little scary at some moments compared to maybe some other ones, but I don't think it'll ever be like that bad.
As Kevin Feige said, it's going to be PG-13. You're going to like it.
Yeah.
So he said on the stage at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, A Quiet Place 2 is PG-13, which is surprising.
Yeah, I was going to say, there are some very good PG-13 horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
That it's, because they prey on the elements that matter most. The original Night of the Living Dead from George Romero probably could pass as PG-13 in today's day and age. Still great, still suspenseful, still has fear, and it touches on all the elements that horror is supposed to do. Anyways, we are not here to talk about Doctor Strange, David.
Well,
I blame you.
the thing is, it all connects, and I think it's so interesting going through this show. I want to kind of.
I almost dropped other names that I was like, we'll wait till the end of the show before I bring back up Doctor Strange too.
So
I have some random notes on the plot, like random notes from the plot that I just loved. I just love Ren Fair, so opening at the Ren Fair was awesome. I was like, hey, look, man, I got my start into Ren Fairs. Loki choosing violence over Miss Minutes is strangely delightful and rude at the same time.
Yes, I love that part.
Very Loki.
But seriously, I have to ask though, you bring up Miss Minutes. She's like, so last episode, she's this cartoon character. She's like, oh, she's this little mascot. Suddenly she's like just talking to Loki like she's right there, and it's like a little holographic projection. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
That doesn't go with what you were last week.
She's like the TVA's Alexa. That's what I like, almost like the AI, or I guess they're like Jarvis. I don't know, because that's what I was watching my girlfriend, and I'm like, oh, it's like, you know, advanced like Alexa or Siri, especially the way, because what's so funny about the show, and I saw an article, it was just like it was really just about Hollywood and production, just like going crazy about the production design of a Loki and how cool it looks and how it interacts, and how, especially with the TVA, how it's like this retro looking thing, but super advanced. And that's exactly what like that Miss Minute scene made me think of, because it's her hologram bouncing around, but also she jumps in that old looking computer. So yeah, how I took it is that she's kind of like, I don't know, I guess kind of the Siri of the TVA, or however you want to put it, but also has some sort of free will.
She wasn't answering all the questions he had for her. He's like, what are you? She's like, ah. So I feel like there's going to be something more to her later on. Maybe she's like whoever the timekeepers, if they even exist, or whoever like claims to be the timekeepers.Maybe she's the avatar of them.
Hey, that'd be cool. I would love to see Miss Minutes take a turn of some sort.
She's evil now. Yeah, that I could actually see that happening.
It's like you guys have all seen WALL-E, right? She's like the autopilot steering wheel.
Yeah.
I just imagine her adorable little face getting angry. And like we actually got to see it when Loki's choosing violence. She like gives him angry face. And it works, you know. I mean, hey,
he seemed to just be kind of having like, he seemed to see it as more like innocent fun. Like his eyes lit up. He seemed to be like all excited. Like I don't think he meant anything by it, but maybe she thought he did, or they maybe if it's someone controlling her or whatever, they suspect that he's like one to not comply with just the standards, and that's not good. So trouble no matter what, even if it's just silly little fun.
Oh yeah.
Like he seems to be the only one not satisfied with like, oh, we're just chill here at TVA. Yep, this is just how it is. It's nice. So like I'm thinking maybe that, I don't know, that was a very interesting scene to me.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved that. Back to the random notes. Pruning equals range. You're good. We are Tangent Town. That's our show. The only reason I told you we'll try to keep it under 2 hours, because we always end in tangents. Wait till the rabbit hole shows up later. Good God, my mind is a dark hole of fan theories. Pruning is equals rainbow colors. Is it have any tie to Infinity Stones or the Rainbow Bridge? Does it have any significance? Probably not. Apocalypse.
I don't know what you said.
Yeah.
So pruning.
It's just a joke. You didn't mean it as a note. I'm sorry. I'm like, wait, did I miss
well,
I mean, does it mean anything? I assume not at the end of the day.
Does what mean anything? What color? What has colors?
The pruning.
When they pruned the guy and he like evaporates.
It's rainbow colors. That's right. Okay, well, maybe rainbow colors means like a special magic in the MCU. Maybe it's like a color code, like for the audience. I don't know. That's my best guess.
That's a good
I don't know either.
Pompeii. Okay, so we were talking about Loki having fun and being enjoyed. My favorite thing about Pompeii is he's literally just like, nothing matters. Everything is done. Enjoy your last meal.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Him telling them they're all about to die. And
they're all just like,
yeah,
like
crazy. Guys.
Okay, whatever. And then it blows up and he's like, right on cue. He's just like enjoying. You know, the weird part is I'm the same kind of way. I'm like the exact, like in the moment of chaos, I'm like dope, especially when nature's happening and you can't control anything. that is when I thrive the best. When all control is lost, expect Thomas to do something fun. It's a hurricane sale. What can I say? Moving on, because we're going to get back to the Alabama of it all later on. We're gonna juxtapose now. I want to juxtapose that and show the difference where the TVA douche face nozzle was all being a jerk and like, hey, they should be scared.
Oh, yeah.
They're all about to die. Yeah, but not scared of us. And I want to bring the visual audience attention to this photograph I took. Tell me that TVA does not look like a Nazi now.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I went there.
I never saw that. I only paid attention to the credits just the last time I watched this, so like an hour ago. Like I hadn't paid attention to the credits at all before then. So yeah, look at
That's
that.
a bad look.
But yeah,
it's a bad look, right? So
yeah.
Oh, excuse me. My final note, because this is the one that's been.
This is a good one.
This hurts my brain because I got nothing.
Okay.
Hunter C20 says it's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. What the frack is real?
Yeah. So that was the one she scooped up
really
in the
fast,
beginning,
David.
right?
Yes, that's the one she scooped up. Which also, what the frack is real is the theme of the show. So it works out very well. But it's weird how she goes from it's real to I gave them everything. I gave them how to find the timekeepers. And it's like, so then what is real?
Yeah, that actually was maybe the most confusing part to me, where I don't you think that
they teed something up there.
Who's Lady? Yeah, definitely. Who's Lady Loki in cahoots with? I guess. Like, who's she working for? Is she working for anyone? Because we're gonna talk about it, but like later on, well, I guess we can get to there now. But like Lady Loki saying how it's not about you, and stuff like that, and she has no interest in taking over the TVA. Questions like that, where it's like. That's why I feel like the show in episode 3 and moving forward is going to kind of shift and change our goal and the mission of what Loki's doing. Obviously, the TVA and Mobius are still going to be in it and everything, but I feel like there's something else at play here. And honestly, to me, what is real? I really didn't follow that. Like that was even just things that about Lady Loki, like. Just that she's real, like just that she's like a Loki variant that's really smart and has these magical powers. But that doesn't seem that traumatizing to me. Like she seems kind of expected for the TVA at this point. Julia, do you have any like thoughts on that or maybe ideas of what she could have meant?
My main thing I've been thinking about with her is like whether or not she's who she says she is.
Lady Loki or?
Yeah, the variant.
The variant, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what a beautiful segue. Who is Lady Loki?
Because this is so she's it says list it says there we can say it listed as Sylvie in credits. So Sylvie in the comics is Enchantress, the second version of Enchantress. The first is I think it's pronounced Saigon. I don't know. I'm really sorry.
The first
there's
is
a first
Amora.
Enchantress. Oh, there was a Saigon who was Enchantress too, right? So there's 3? I don't know. I know Saigon.
Enchantress is the OG that I know of.
Okay, maybe there's 3 then. I thought Saigon was Enchantress. Someone said maybe that messed up because I don't know that much about this side of the comics. But yeah, or the Norse mythology for that matter, because there is stuff taken from that for these.
Yeah,
of course. But yeah, so I think maybe like I don't know if she's really a Loki variant or not. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't, because like people were pointing out her powers. They did at the beginning of this episode. I don't remember exactly what they said. They described Loki's powers. They were like when they're all standing in the circle before they go on their first mission, they do that. And then at the end, when we're with the variant and everything, we see her powers and they're kind of different. They're describing like what Loki like making a copy of himself versus some other thing and like how magic works differently. So, I mean, maybe she learned other powers. Maybe it's an amalgamation. I don't know if that's the right word of characters because Marvel does it sometimes. I mean, Agatha might have been as well. I think in WandaVision, or at least she was changed. So like they might not be exactly Lady Loki or exactly an Enchantress. It might be just a kind of a mix for the MCU.
That's
not
my
everything
answer.
is the comics.
Oh.
Because really, So I don't think the full answer is in the comics with this show, which I think is nice because with WandaVision, everything except for Agatha herself, I would say, was very obviously pulled from the comics, and it was kind of easy to guess just because of that. And it was still a good show because people think, I don't know, people think I'm hating on WandaVision when I say that, but yeah, it was easy to guess. But like this is not like that. If you like, because again, you can guess some things by elements. Like people are speculating: is she Loki's alternate universe daughter? Is she his sister? Is she going to be a love interest? I hope if she's a version of him, she isn't a love interest because that would that be incest? I don't like that.
It'd be a little weird.
Yeah, like I mean, if she's not, maybe if she's just Enchantress and it's just cool, then yeah, if they want to make them love interest, sure. But like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in incest. And like, there was some article, there's an interview that Tom Hiddleston did, and he was asked if Loki was gonna get a love interest, and he said, "Well, you have to have a good relationship with yourself first." And I'm like, please don't tell me that has a double meaning. I don't want this to have like a Paul Bettany where it's himself first. I don't need that to be the equivalent here. Like, I don't want to be squicked out. I want to enjoy the show. But yeah, she could be like a lot of different things. I think maybe she's not entirely a villain. I don't think anyone's really truly a full hero or villain. Basically, that was pretty much said in this episode by Loki himself. So I think maybe Loki teams up with her and goes against the TVA, and maybe Mobius joins them as well, because like, as even Kate Herron, the director, has pointed out, he has this sense of empathy that others at TVA don't seem to have. We saw in the first episode with him and the kid. We saw it here with the victims of the disaster.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely, like, actually cares about people, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. And I'm interested to see what happens with Renslayer, because Kang the Conqueror is rumored to show up in this, despite what Jonathan Majors says. Yeah, we know he's Kang, at least going to be an Ant-Man, so he might be in this. And Renslayer in the comics is his love interest. So it might not be this way in the MCU, but they do have a connection of some kind. So if that happens, maybe she'll turn out to be evil or whatever. Maybe she'll, like, go against him and be good. I don't know. But I think these guys, as well as the hunter the other main hunter, I don't know how to pronounce the actress's name or what number the hunter is. It Wumi? I think it's Wumi. She plays
Hunter
the other Hunter B-15 or whatever it is. Yeah, you know the one. The main hunter, the one that picked Loki up at the beginning of the series. Yeah, like she might be coming into play more as well too, and hopefully Casey gets out of there too if TVA turns out to be bad, because I like him. We all love Stan Casey.
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 Poor Casey.
Casey. At least he only had his drink taken away and not his whole salad.
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it could go a lot of different directions. I am of the mindset where, you know, just in that one, it was that one translation, because it was like the dub for I forget what language, but that actress who was dubbing for Lady Loki, it was listed as Sylvie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, whoa, let's take a step back. And I think that makes sense where maybe that's her name and they do some sort of like, I think it's an amalgamation, because if you think about her character, just as we've seen her, you know, Lady Loki in the comics is kind of looks more like Loki, like I guess like physically and like hair length and color looks like Loki just as a female. And the Lady Loki we get in Loki, the show, so many Lokis. You know, she's blonde, short hair, has the horns though, and looks like has the getup of a Lady Loki, just like outwardly. And I think they're trying to make us think that that's just Lady Loki. I think it'd be cool if it is Sylvie Enchantress, because she's kind of like the 2.0 Enchantress, not Amora. Even though the 1.0 Enchantress and Loki do have a long history in the comics. But also Loki gives Sylvie her powers unbeknownst to her in the comic books, and she goes on to become Enchantress and all this stuff. So there is a tie there that they could play around with. But
yeah,
I like the idea that, you know, that she is quote unquote a variant of Loki, but maybe she has this other alias and different powers. And one thing that really stuck out to me while watching it was that it says where Loki's like, oh, enchantment. That's a clever trick. Like, it's cowardly, but it's clever. And it's like, enchantment. And I think the other side of this, say if it's not an amalgamation and she's just Sylvie / Enchantress, and she's a Lady Loki phony, is just that, you know, she's using her abilities to portray herself as a Lady Loki, but that's not her at all. And that somehow made it so the TVA would read her or somehow like understand that she's a variant of Loki. It gets confusing when you think about how the variant or how the TVA even knew that she was a Loki, because it's like, all right, then how is she not a Loki? Because they knew that somehow. Thomas, I want to hear your thoughts. I feel like you have something cooking up there in your head of your.
I need everyone to just get ready, because this one's gonna be. It's not gonna be that much of a journey as it was originally, because you guys hammered a lot of points already, so it makes this a breeze. My official guess, who is Lady Loki? She will go by Enchantress. For a lot of reasons. Yeah, enchantment is a clever trick. You know, then there's the Loki, and then don't call me that. Call me Randy. And then we get that great line. Oh no, I know Thor always hated that one. And then he gets not beaten up, you're getting attacked. I would never treat me this way. Those are all key lines, and if there's anything we learned from Waldron so far, it's that, as they say on the direct pod, lines that matter. Because those three instantly pop into my head at the end when I was like, that's Enchantress, man. That we haven't had proper Enchantress in any way. She's been avoided entirely. So why not bring her in phase 4 when you're opening that magical world? And as we already saw, the internet sleuth saw it as Sylvie. And I'm going to just go ahead and bring this up. David,
okay, we can mention that. I didn't know we were supposed to mention that in this podcast.
Hey, if it's on the internet and it's after Loki, that's how I look.
Side.
Yeah.
But
so, for the audio audience, we have a picture of a report that somebody has the most beautiful screenshot in the history of ever. I don't know how they got this in a fraction of a second, because it took me forever to get it to pause properly. It says Sylvie Laufey daughter. Laufey, and then Dottir, which is obviously Icelandic for daughter. So it is apparent, at the very least, also descendant of Laufey.
See, that makes it think that's an amalgamation going on. Just that name is an amalgamation. You know, that is taking something from the comics and altering it a little bit.
But what if she's his sister?
Or yes.
Maybe.
Or is she just his sister? Or is she perhaps...
Or just a different Loki who's got another name.
Who goes by a different name, you know, the same variant's energy, but not technically Loki.
Because it is variant's energy they detect in these areas, you know?
Yeah,
so they get the same read.
One thing we got to keep in mind here, Charles Murphy said this on Twitter like a day or two ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. The plots for these shows, I don't know if it applies to the movies as well, but it was definitely the shows, are always less complicated than we think. I think that's maybe why some people end up disappointed, because they think it's going to be so complicated, and it's like, it's not a long show, you guys. So I don't know, like, it's going to make sense. It's going to be like surprising, because again, we can't guess which one it's going to be, which is good, because with WandaVision and maybe in Falcon 2, Falcon was really obvious, but like it wasn't really supposed to be a mystery.
Yeah.
So it's fine, I guess.
Different show.
Yeah, different kind of style of show, but yeah, it's just like, I'm thinking maybe like one of the more simple-ish options, like maybe not the simplest, because these guys do seem to want to be kind of mysterious and everything, is what it is going to be. So maybe it's like, because I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, alternate universe Loki with an alternate universe sister or whatever. It's like, it's nuts. Like, I don't know. Maybe like we need to peel back a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it is nuts. I don't know. It'd be cool if it was. But like, again, we have to do something that like the general audience will understand. And the general audience has gotten more used to projects like this, thanks to the MCU largely and other things. But like, again, they have to be explained, like multiverses and stuff. Like, a lot of people who are into this like have searched up on this, like I did, but like people in the movies have only heard like Mysterio mention it once, and then it didn't turn out to be false. And like it hasn't really happened in any of the shows yet.
They mentioned it in Doctor Strange 1.
Oh, they did, yeah. So like they're getting people used to this. So maybe they can't just throw us in the deep end. I mean, I know the show is treating us like we're smarter than the average MCU movie would, which is great. And like, it's made for people who've seen the movies before, but again, it's not made for people who, I mean, it is made for people who read all the comics, but it's not, I mean, it's not just for them. So like, again, I'm thinking it's maybe simpler than we think, but still surprising. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's how I'm going to think about like all this stuff now. Like Charles kind of changed my mindset there.
I think that's a smart way.
You want simple and surprising? Is she working for Wanda? I mean, we're about to get into it.
I love that. I don't think so.
What she does at the end of this episode, I'm talking of Enchantress, which is the only way I'm going to talk about Sylvie from this moment forward. What she's doing is creating chaos in the timeline. What is Wanda, if not chaos magic? The first thing we see of Lady Loki truly utilizing powers is the same thing that Wanda used to do in the beginning of her powers, right? So it's like easing us into the idea of who this character could be. And again, we have those things. I have a really not simple, insane what if idea that I really have to throw out.
Okay, sure.
What if Sylvie, Laufey's daughter, is actually Odin's daughter, but was left for dead and Laufey brought like in a different timeline? So it's the reverse. And that's how
too complicated, honestly. I think that might be a good idea. I don't know.
That's a cool
that is
theory.
Cool. That might be possible because she's blonde.
She's blonde, and which would be amazing to have a sibling of Thor actually be fucking blonde for one.
Because that's a good like multiversal thing too, where it's wrinkle. Like it's close, but a couple things were swapped, including their gender, and like there you go. And so she is like a Loki, but it's just kind of a different story.
Oh, you mean in a different universe? I meant in this universe too, but like that works.
Yeah.
I'll take both. I'll take both.
One thing I wanted to mention, because you were mentioning Wanda, I've seen a theory on Twitter that I really like, is that the moment that the time bombs went off was the moment at the end of WandaVision where Wanda heard Billy and Tommy in the multiverse calling.
I saw that. That was
and
really
I think that
good.
makes a lot of sense.
I was gonna bring that up actually, right? Like as Thomas was talking, because I like that a lot. Where it's like she hears Billy and Tommy, and that's when. Because here's the thing. You know what? I had these questions. I want to talk about just that, like her blowing. Because I was writing. I've written I've written some stuff. It's coming out sometime soon for the direct about it, and it's not posted yet, so I can't really.
I had a whole thing as well. I don't know if it's up yet or not. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk like it's not. Anyway, I was writing about. Talking, I've been discussing with people just what happened with the time bombs, how it worked. I loved how Lady Loki, Enchantress, whatever you want to call her, had it laid out where she's using the TemPad, which is that kind of TVA device that it shows you the red line, it shows you the sacred timeline, it shows you, and it's how you jump through the time doors. So it's really like an all-in-one kind of deal. Besides the reset charges. So she had it all the reset charges connected from that one TemPad, which I thought was really cool. And that's how they all kind of portaled away. I thought it was ingenious how they the more I think about it, it's like, wow, that really does make sense. And she's been collecting them, gathering them up, and then sending them. I know, Julia, you wrote about this, that I know this is posted, about all the different locations.
Okay, that is the one I was talking about. That is posted then? Okay.
Yeah. I took reference to that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I got ideas.
Yeah, it's really weird. So there was a bunch of Earth, like Midgard locations, I guess if you want to put it that way, like a bunch of places on Earth, all in a bunch of different timelines or years, I guess. And then there was a bunch of planets, including like Vormir, Xandar, Asgard, a bunch of others. There's like like maybe 8 or 6 different planets.
Yeah.
That were all ones we've already seen or heard of in the MCU, which that kind of stuck out to me, where I'm like, it makes me feel like it was just an Easter egg and not important, because I almost feel like an Easter egg that would be of more importance this is just a random thought, was if there was a planet on there that we have not seen yet, but it is a Marvel planet. There was like more timelines popping up. Like there was a time where we didn't see the location. That could be it. But also, I mean, in trailers, Thomas, if you haven't watched trailers, you're really scared, you might want to look away while I'll whisper it. You can look away. Because we have seen a location that everyone was suspecting to be a certain place in I said it. Oops. Vormir.
Nope.
It's Vormir.
Yeah,
and people thought like she was like the what's her face, Enchantress, which I'm gonna call her that now too, I guess, was Natasha. on Vormir in the trailers,
yeah.
which we know it's not now, right? You guys, it's Enchantress. You guys, yeah, she's blonde. Yeah. But yeah, so we know they're going to Vormir. We know they're going to Asgard because we've seen that in trailers. We know they're going to New York, but the New York didn't seem to match up with the time period listed. It was listed 1947, but it looks like they're going back to partly when Loki was there in 2012, because you see him dressed in the thing at one point. One of the trailers, like the same garb in the same place in the tower. And then there's like a post-apocalyptic one, which I guess if a bomb went off there, if that is really a bomb, because I don't know if time bomb is literal or not. I'm ashamed I still don't get it. Maybe that's what it does. I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting to me. And then I'm sure, like, I still don't know what some of the other locations are going to be. Like, I don't know how Loki's going to come into all this. I'm still waiting. I have no idea how that can work.
Yeah.
The places listed.
One thing I was thinking about and trying to figure out was, see, in theory, if you just dropped a reset charge, like if you just drop those reset charges where she put them, they theoretically should not do anything the way they're currently set up. So she must have either used magic or just like technical skill to reverse engineer them. Because right now, I wrote it somewhere, probably not in the notes, but how, Loki had to they always do this in Marvel where they set things up and they explain things that we should remember for later. Where Loki, because he had to do his little like studying for the TVA, which was another point when he's talking about the TVA propaganda. I'm like, yeah, they're just full of it. But anyway, he said that it prunes all existing matter or whatever that like altered that timeline, and then the flow of time will heal or something. So in theory, if you just drop those reset charges in all those locations, there would be nothing to fix unless, you know what I mean? Like there'd be nothing to fix because those timelines, wherever she's setting them, should be on course on the sacred timeline. So it's like instead of destroying what's been altered, it's like she re-engineered them to destroy what's been unaltered, like everything. Because the fact of the matter that we end this episode ends so perfectly. Oh my God, the TVA, they're like, it's about to light on fire in there. They're running around. Like, there's so many branches popping off. And then Loki decides to follow her. The time door closes and it cuts the credits. I mean, I told Tom, I texted him earlier. I'm like, that was like peak television. Like, it's so perfect. That's a perfect way to end a TV show, like an episode where it's perfect cliffhanger. You want to know what's happening. And it ends in pandemonium, really. Because I don't know what the TVA is going to do from here. Because even I was watching back earlier, it says, red line imminent on the TVA like television when the branches start breaking off, because I can't imagine that the TVA agents can get to each one of those however many locations so quickly to then like reset them. We'll see what happens, but I just thought Lady Loki Enchantress is I guess just her causing chaos and her plan was so well thought out and perfectly executed. Like, this is clearly a nod to what may eventually happen or what's already happening. Because here's the thing, too. I'm curious what you guys think of. To me, Loki, the show, has moved so much faster than I thought it was ever going to.
Yeah, same. And I'm very happy about it.
Me too. Like, compared to WandaVision especially, and even Falcon the Winter Soldier. This really moved. Like we got Loki complete. Like he saw his whole life play out in episode 1. We got him to be an agent of the TVA. He's kind of like almost hit the reset button, and he's like this new character. And then the second episode, Loki by the end of it is already gone out of the TVA's finger, and also the sacred timeline seems to be collapsing. And normally I would say that was just a tease for the imminent possible later collapse of the sacred timeline, but in this show that could mean that the sacred timeline's basically done. I mean, who knows, or it's like it's past savable at this point, because before they were freaking out over one branch like line almost hitting red, and now there's dozens of them. Thomas, I'm kind of rambling. What are your thoughts on what I'm saying?
You can ramble for like 3 more minutes. I'm in the middle of some research.
Okay, can I go then?
Side. Yes, you can.
Okay. So I wanted to say on this, like, I like how fast the show is moving, and like, so the first episode he sees his whole life, that's right, and you get this big emotional thing that you think would normally come at like the end of a series, like this revelation, but it's the beginning. And then we get the reveal that the variant is him that they're hunting, or they think it is at least, which is which we don't have to wait, because like I feel like with other stuff in like, I don't know, again, I don't want to pick on WandaVision, I really like it, but like again, we have to wait so long for reveals, and I'm like, okay, so we know it's a variant. I'm like, oh gosh, it's gonna be Sophia DiMartino, and then we're gonna have to wait like 4 episodes till we find out it's her or whatever, and she's just gonna pop up and do whatever. And like we're just gonna have to go and like it's Sophia, and I'm like, oh thank goodness they revealed that at the end too. Thank goodness we're there now. So like, and then we know there's gonna have to be more big reveals, so it's good they got rid of like the obvious ones like right away.
Yeah.
I mean, the variant hunting one wasn't that obvious like right away. I wouldn't have guessed it from the trailers that they were hunting a Loki variant, and that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought they were just gonna come across him, so I guess that one was less obvious. But once you knew it was him, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be Sophia. And like that's who it's gonna be, and it's like we're gonna have to wait a few more episodes, and then no, we didn't. It's like here she is. They let it play out for as much as they could for the second episode. They milked it just the right amount, so it was mysterious but like not annoyingly so. And then and now I don't know what's gonna happen, which is awesome because I feel like I could telegraph the last 2 Disney Plus shows a lot. Like I could telegraph Falcon almost before it aired, except for a couple things.
Yeah. No, that, I mean, Falcon the Winter Soldier definitely didn't have as complicated of a story. I really liked it
because there were too many people, too many characters, too many villains, especially and we're following 2 different people who aren't exactly on the same track in life, and like and we only had 6 episodes, so
who were the bad
so you had you had Zemo, and you had John Walker and Flag Smashers and Sharon Carter, and Sharon Carter's reveal was supposed to be a big shocking reveal, I think, but like everyone called it right away from her first episode. And then you had like Julia Louis-Dreyfus showed up, although she was just there with John Walker, and then John Walker had a sidekick, and there was like how many Flag Smashers?
There were a lot of characters now that you said.
And Bucky dated someone for no reason, like that didn't lead to anything in the first episode. And then you had that guy who like we thought was going to be important, and then it's like, oh yeah, I killed your son, sorry about that, like very quickly at the end. In the first episode, like built that up wild. Like it was too much, I think. And they had like Sam's friend who's gonna be the new Falcon, Joaquin something, Joaquin Torres, and like it's too many characters. Oh, and Isaiah Bradley.
That was a big part.
That was like huge. Like that was like I think we could have gotten rid of like Sharon Carter and like maybe one other thing. I don't know.
And that one I thought the Flag Smashers was the weakest point. And I think a lot of people agreed on that.
But they should have. I think they should have. If they were stronger, the show would have been stronger. I think they should have stayed, and maybe like, I don't know, maybe Zemo can only be in for like 1 episode or something because he didn't really amount to that much. And then the Dora Milaje showed up too, although they weren't an annoying part. But the Flag Smashers I think were important to the theme, so like they could justify being there. But like Sharon really was not justified being there. First of all,
I think they're. I mean, they were
the least justified.
But
they could have easily done that somewhere else. I don't know. I'm sorry, this isn't the Falcon Winter Soldier podcast. So I'm like, why is there so much happening? Like WandaVision, like it was predictable to me, but it made sense. Like we had Monica there, and it felt appropriate to set her up. It felt like we weren't taking up too much time from other stuff, and like I feel like it's gonna be the same here with like Renslayer and whoever else they're setting up. Maybe Kang, if Mobius is gonna show up again, because I know he's contracted. If they need him for movies, he can show up. Stuff like that. Enchantress, like it's all very connected to this one central thing. And then Falcon, it was like a million different plot lines happening, because Sam and Bucky were on their own journeys, and then we had the different villains. And like John Walker, I think was good. We definitely keep him. And like, I don't know. I want to keep Flag Smashers just because they are important to the theme. But like, again, I don't know. Zemo, I like, and I know everyone likes, but he didn't really do much. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right. I've done my research. We got to go back to the bombs really fast. In my head, I was like, I was wondering if Steve went back in time to New York in 1947, and if whether or not Loki was. I was doing some research. Here's what I actually found. That date that he goes back to New York is the same day that the mayor, LaGuardia, dies. So obviously there's a power vacuum there. So
wait, in the 1947 date, you mean in Loki?
Yes, in Loki in New York. Like that's real stuff that happened. So there's an opening of power. So I'm wondering if, what might happen there. But I was reading these dates because that's what I really wanted to look into. Good. Titan, October 13th, 1982. I don't know if that date is specific, but I feel like it is. I know it's exactly 3 years before my sister was born. And I don't remember what year the first Friday the 13th came out, nor do I know if this was a Friday. It was a Wednesday. This October was a Wednesday, but that's when he bombs Titan. So obviously ruining the future of whatever may happen. It sounds like maybe, perhaps, in that timeline.
Looks like.
Damn. Okay. It looks like with this Titan, I just realized I'm not sharing my screen. What a dick. Could be saving Gamora from all of the torture that, she was about to have to endure.
Oh.
There we are. In case you're wondering what this is just an article by Julia Delbel, who's sitting right here. I really want to bring everyone's attention to Hala 0051.
Yeah.
I was shocked it was that early. I was
very early.
Yes.
0051?
I have an idea on this. The Supreme Intelligence had to have been created at some point.
Well, I want more Supreme Intelligence. I want to see what the computer actually looks like in the MCU.
Yeah, I wonder if it's as ugly as its comic book counterpart. September 24th, 1001. Xandar. Why that date? I just want to know that.
It seems
maybe
so
the
I know I wrote this
radiation
in
of
the
the Nova
article, so I'm
Corps.
really stupid right now, but what's Xandar again? What's the significance? They had a war with Hala and something. I wrote this yesterday. I should know this.
The Nova Corps.
That's the planet from Guardians.
We haven't seen that much of them yet. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
maybe
where
Nova shows up in the MCU, maybe.
Yeah, you think he will at some point. That was where Thanos went, and it's like a line in Infinity War. He like decimated Xandar and got the Power Stone. It was like a throwaway line in Infinity War, but that was over 1,000 years later that happened. So
exactly. 1999, Cookeville, USA. I don't know if there's any significance to that.
I'm surprised that they didn't go with Y2K, but maybe they didn't want to be predictable.
True. I'm wondering if any of these are going to be the creation of new characters, such as America Chavez.
I don't know. You know what I think? It seems so.
I don't know what you think.
It just seems so random to me, and the fact that it was just blinked on a board for a second, like I don't know. To me, I like staring at this, and I even like use this as a reference in an article I was writing about because it's interesting. Especially, I think the Vormir happening super in the future, for us anyway. But something that like I'm gonna for this kind of section and speculation to me, my brain has to go back to what Julia referenced earlier with Charles Murphy's quote being like, "It's not that it's simpler than we think." Because there's so much you could read into with this, where it's like it to me, it's like it can't mean all that much. That's at least what I think, because it's like. There's so like why all those times it's confusing. I don't really understand. Maybe it'll be explained, but I also kind of think maybe it was little Easter eggs of it's all places at random arbitrary times. That's at least where my head is.
Yes,
well, I think we're going to some of them, but yeah, I don't think we can visit all of these. Well, if there's 4 episodes left. And I know might be a season 2, but they've been saying that this tells one complete story. So maybe the agent's running off we're at the end, we're running off to those timelines, and we'll say, we dealt with such and such place at such and such time. We're good there, or whatever. So,
maybe. I want to bring everyone's attention to Sakaar, 1984. I get this really weird feeling that that's before the Grandmaster came in and created order. Yeah, before that he came in and created. See, again,
he created the planet. I thought.
No, I don't think so.
I thought he did.
I think no. They said long ago the first he didn't create the planet.
Oh my god! I think I put in the article that he created the planet. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. I know he created the civilization on Sakaar, which essentially would be the same thing. But as he mentioned, time on Sakaar works differently. Much like the TVA. So, he might have gone through a wormhole and it landed in the Earth year of 1984 in the sacred timeline. So he really doesn't know how old he is. In the TVA.
In the negative zone as well.
Okay, we're going to get there in a second. But the Sakaar of it all, if you remember the trailers when he has on the voting pin and it's my favorite costume that Loki has in the trailers. And he's just like, if you look at the ceiling, it's looking very similar to the white and red of Sakaar, of Hulk's room on Sakaar.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that we're going to be going. I get this feeling that if we've been to that planet, we're going to go to that planet again in just a different place and time, because that's the fun of a time travel gimmick. It looks like tomorrow. Yeah, look at that. Same brain. Because I just looked at the dates because David knows. I read quotes and look at the dates, and then that's it. That's how I read it.
What I said in the article, I'll explain what I said. I said, like, basically with this episode, I'm like, well, we were just on Earth in this episode. And it's like, surely the TVA controls more than Earth. But it's like part of the fun of time travel is getting to see locations, and history moments, and see your future and whatever. So the fact that we know all these places, except for maybe we won't know one at one point. That would be cool. And we go to one we don't know yet. But it's like we know what it looks like in one time period, so we get to juxtapose another. So it still works for the time travel thing. It'll mean something to the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff going on in the comments really quick.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well.
Yeah, I was like, ooh. So really quick, what do time bombs do in a good timeline?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Inquiring. Yes.
That's kind of what I was...
Or maybe she engineered them to reverse previous time bombs.
Right.
Allowing more variance out. And then she asked, are all the dates AD Earth time? That is my assumption.
That is the assumption, yeah.
Just because we're the audience.
Or like null time. That's what they say in 616 comics. You know what I mean, Thomas? Yeah, but I don't, I think for the purposes of the show, it seems like it's Earth time. Which it also could lead to the fact, make you think that's what the TVA is confusing to me, where it's like they have these great abilities to time travel and do all this stuff, but what are they really doing? I don't know. I'm still of the mindset they're kind of a hoax in a lot of ways. I understand they have these abilities in this cool like place, but to me, some of it I think might just be kind of like illusions or just they're not fighting, I think, for the thing they're fighting for the sacred timeline. That's at least what I think.
Okay, well, what do you think the TVA is going to do now?
I mean, I think in the show, you would think, because you see all the soldiers or the agents going through the time doors. Oh, like they're going to try to get the timelines. They're try to put, new reset charges and then bring it back. I think this could go so many directions. What is a bold prediction that I think would be interesting is that next episode. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go on this ledge or like this hill, but I think there's an outside chance next episode we don't see the TVA. It's just a Loki centric episode, and you just see them on the planet, and it's figuring out their side of things. And then maybe at the end we get a tease of what's going back there. Because honestly, the one disappointing thing, not disappointing, but the one unfortunate thing I think from this episode is that now it's setting up no more, at least in the near future, Loki and Mobius, which I think has been such a great back and forth so far.
No.
It'll be back, but I think
it'll definitely be back.
Yeah, but right now it's not exactly there. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially because from some of the Loki trailers and stuff, seeing that purple planet could be Vormir, could be some other things, like who really knows. Where that's
destroyed Earth, right?
Yeah, well, there's
is that Vormir?
You never know.
I'm pretty sure it's Vormir. That's my guess, especially because it popped up on the screen. I'm like, yeah, okay, we were.
I don't know if Vormir is purple like that, but to me, it almost some of the terrain in a couple of the shots looks a bit different, where Vormir seems so much more like mystical and has the water and stuff. I don't know.
Time travel, it might have changed.
Exactly, especially if it's like in 2300 or whatever.
Whatever it was, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Future, not the past.
Exactly. So, where does the TVA go from here? I suspect we don't see them that much next episode, if maybe at all. I think that'd be a cool way to take this and really focus on learning more about who Enchantress Lady Loki is. We know there's that shot. Specifically, I'm excited to see this one part where it's Loki and Lady Loki, or whatever you want to call her, sitting on a rock talking. I feel like that's going to be gold. And just kind of hearing what's really going on here. They're not being adversarial. Maybe we're getting a little more like character development. So where did the TVA go from here? My first assumption is that they're trying to bring the timeline back together, and maybe they succeeded at that. Maybe they have, Renslayer gets off her butt and runs out there. Maybe they have enough manpower to pull it back in. Julia, do you have any thoughts on this? Did we lose Julia?
I don't know.
Thomas, do you have any thoughts on this?
I on what the TVA does specifically?
Yeah.
I got nothing. I think that they're gonna it looks like we lost Julia for just a moment. I think that we're gonna have to just assume that I got nothing, man. I got no idea what the TVA is gonna do. I don't know.
It seems obvious, right?
I don't care about the TVA because they're nothing more than a bureaucratic organization who's thrown together to control people. It's nothing more than an illusion conjured by the weak to inspire fear, which is why I don't give a shit about them. Because eventually the TVA is going to be an entity. Whether it's the timekeepers, they're the real problem, or Kang, wink, wink, they're the problem. And also, they can do Kang and not do Kang at the same time.
How?
Which Immortus, Kang has 7 different variants of himself from different timelines. One of which is Iron Lad, a young variant who decided to be a hero. It's bonkers, man. And there's even another Kang, Immortus, who I heard this on a different podcast, who now I don't remember, in the comics with Renslayer's help, amassed all the Kangs, put them in basically a secret war against each other, so they'd kill each other, and he would be the only Kang left.
Right.
Which feels very timekeeper-y.
Maybe they'll do the same with Loki's in this show, because again, there's rumors of a lot of variants showing up. I've heard rumors of Kid Loki. I've heard rumors of other Loki. Supposedly, everyone thinks Richard E. Grant's going to play Loki. Maybe they'll do that.
I would love for that.
Yeah.
I think he's been on for so long that he probably is, because they've probably seen fan ideas and been like, yeah, that sounds good, and then got him for that.
I think one thing to kind of step back a second and think about the show is that it's called Loki. And I feel like the point of it is seeing different Lokis and following Hiddleston and maybe getting a kid Loki or a classic Loki. And to me, I want to see Kang, but part of me thinks he's not going to show up maybe for those reasons. But he could be, why not just allude to him, or we hear his name invoked instead of, we don't have to see him. I think all we have to do is just hear his name, and then that'll be good enough for all of us to know he existed. And it's kind of funny to me because in a lot of ways, this seems to be the second part of a 4-part story they're telling between WandaVision, Loki, maybe Spider-Man, and then Doctor Strange.
And then maybe more parts after that, because we don't know yet.
Exactly. And obviously, it seems like, we don't know with Kang in this, but Kang is coming in Ant-Man 3, which makes you think about the quantum realm. And its kind of place in this, and because there's so many,
I think.
I know what you think, that the TVA is in the quantum realm, which I think is a great theory.
Yeah, I like it too.
Because time
maybe Ant-Man's part 5.
Maybe. I mean, if Kang ends up being referenced or actually shows up in the show, it is part 5. And maybe even it's part 6 by the time we get there. We don't really know.
Part 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's the MCU. It's all connected, but I like the way they're going with it. I think it's funny before the series started, it's kind of just silly to me, these questions asking Waldron, is it connected to Doctor Strange? And it's like, if I was him, I'd be just like, you just got to watch the show, man. I'm not going to tell you right here. But when you watch Loki, I feel like it clearly is. I mean, my overarching prediction from all of the show is that it's going to set up the multiverse in a way that we're going to see it in Spider-Man probably and Doctor Strange. This sets it up. Because my initial prediction was that 6 months ago, was that that was going to be WandaVision. It was a lot of people's predictions that Wanda was going to crack open the multiverse somehow, and then it's going to rain on, then that's going to draw out the chaos.
Well, they sort of was, because like, so remember way back when these were initially announced.
Yeah.
And like, so this was this whole thing. Like, so Doctor Strange was intended to be in WandaVision. That got revealed later, but yeah, we know that. Loki was possibly premiering after Doctor Strange, when Doctor Strange was supposed to.
Right.
Doctor Strange was supposed to be May this year, and then Loki was spring, so it would have probably been like May or June, because WandaVision was supposed to be like March 2021 or something. So Loki probably would have been after. So I guess there's been changes. Clearly there has been, like, Multiverse of Madness has changed, because like Waldron didn't get added to that till after he did Loki, and I think by that point they knew Loki wouldn't be coming out till later, because that was probably after the show. I don't even know.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, yeah, that's really weird. And I guess they know Spider-Man's coming out first now, so they changed that too. So I think Multiverse of Madness has gone all through a lot of changes since then. So I think WandaVision kind of was supposed to set up Multiverse of Madness a bit more, but then they decided no, for various reasons, and they've talked about that.
Yeah,
so
it actually seems like they audibled a bit, especially with Multiverse of Madness, for the points you brought up, because it was supposed to be WandaVision, and then Multiverse of Madness was going to come out right after, and then Loki in the summer, and then Spider-Man some random other time. And now
Spider-Man was supposed to be the July, so it was supposed after. But I don't think that they knew it was a multiverse movie yet, or who was going to be in it, or if that had even been decided by that point, or if Doctor Strange was going to be in it or whatever. Maybe he wouldn't have been if Doctor Strange had come out first. Yeah. But now it's like he's going there and he's going there. And like, oh my goodness.
It feels like Doctor Strange kind of went over a bit of a remodeling behind the scenes.
Well, yeah, because
based on the order.
Left. And it was basically, from what I understand, it's because he wanted to make a different movie than Disney did. With I think they wanted it to connect with stuff more. Is what I'm getting at. Because I think from what's been happening, that's my guess.
Yeah, honestly, I think as time's gone on, that makes a lot more sense why that happened. Because I feel like Derrickson had a sequel kind of like directly tied into Doctor Strange, whereas now it seems like it's going to be this kind of encompassing event film where maybe he didn't want to make that kind of thing, which it's hard to make that if you're a creator as a director. You know, you're playing in a very limited sandbox, right? Where you have Feige over your shoulder telling you what to do, calling you plays.
Yeah, I think it's limited in some ways and very open in others. And I think people like don't fully understand that when people are talking about it. Like there's nuance here for sure.
Yeah.
Like some people think MCU is just like anyone gets to do whatever they want and it's just whatever. And some people think it's like very bureaucratic like the TVA, but it's a combination of the order and the chaos.
Well, Feige does a great job of balancing
maybe some of the stuff they're saying in Loki is kind of meta too.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the more we keep talking about this, the better. Like we were talking about specifically, who are the TVA really? What does the TVA do now? Existence is chaos. Nothing makes any sense. So we try to make some sense of it. Yeah. And I'm just lucky that the chaos I emerged into gave me all of this, my own glorious purpose. Mobius. Yeah. Mobius said that.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't tell you where this show is going to go, it's just going to keep descending further and further into chaos. It's about Loki. Who is Loki? I don't know why I'm jumping to the end, but I think, we were talking, it's going to be simple.
I was going to say we should probably dive into predictions.
Yeah, we might as well. Where is the series going? We're here.
Yeah.
Loki, the series is about Loki and his journey of self-exploration. Where is our variant of Loki going to end up is something that I have no answers to. However, along his journey, I think he's going to get the opportunity to play some things that he always wanted to do and try, and he's likely going to continuously fail. And then something's going to happen that'll make him succeed in a way that is unexpected. I think eventually, I say unexpected for him.
Like, but I mean, like, he did have some success this episode too. Like, the Pompeii theory was correct.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be kind of up and down for him.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Chaos. It's got to be chaotic.
Yeah, like it can't just be, I don't know. Because like for a show that's chaotic, I'm glad it's really unpredictable. I hope it doesn't get predictable. Like with Falcon and Wanda, like the last 2 episodes or whatever, I was sitting there with like basically a mental checklist. It's like, okay, this is going to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, and this is what they have to tie up, and then it's done. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's going to be stuff to tie up in Loki, but like, I don't want to be sitting there like, here's the beats of the episode, here you go. I don't want to be sitting here and be able to predict that. Because I don't know, that made it disappointing. So I don't know.
Something that I'm not sure anyone's really kind of predicted yet. Let's get to the Mobius of it all really fast on where I see the series going. What is his relationship to the Mobius strip? well, the Mobius strip is an infinite loop, aka a closed circle. Mobius is basically stuck in an infinite loop of existence of I go on this mission, I come back. I go on this mission, I come back. It's the monotony, which he doesn't seem to realize it's monotony, but that's okay. And then Renslayer brings up, I have other agents. Mobius is a clone. I'm calling it here now.
Oh yeah, probably. I saw another theory I like too, but going with the it's less complicated than we think thing, this probably isn't going to happen. But because he was obsessed with the jet ski from like the early 90s, it's like, was he pulled from the early 90s and brainwiped or something like everyone else was? Maybe they picked people based on their skills and personality or whatever, or maybe I don't know, like their skills, not really personality so much, because like they don't want certain personalities in the GBA. But they picked from different timelines and. Just like that. Like they're real people. They were not created by the timekeepers or whatever.
That's how it like was in comics, I think.
Oh, it is? I didn't know that.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I get the sense that how do you amass all these people? Well, what is resetting? I had this question earlier and I deleted it. Like, what is resetting? Maybe it's just straight mind wiping them, and then they're now drones that you program to do whatever you want because, well, when you have magical powers of time control, you can manipulate people's minds, I guess. But I also think that as the walls come crumbling, Mobius will eventually find himself with his perception of reality breaking. I think Mobius and Loki will flip roles by the show's end.
Oh my gosh, probably.
With Loki breaking Mobius' perception of reality while comforting him emotionally because he sees himself they see each, and they again existence is chaos.
That's gonna be so good.
They have similar mindsets. They're very similar, which is why they work well together.
Although I do have to wonder in that vein, like with Loki being the control person at the end, is it just like a Loki variant running the timeline? I don't know. I know that theory's kind of popped up. I don't know if that makes sense, but
at the end or like right now.
Like I don't know, like now, like it's the person saying there's all these timekeepers and crap is a Loki variant. I don't know, probably not. That just kind of came to mind.
It's Richard E. Grant.
I guess I can just maybe I can just throw it out there and be like, I called it. I don't know.
You can see him sitting on top of a throne.
Everyone yell at every scrape ever, so we can say we called it at the end.
Hey, listen, that's what I do. And then in Flash season 2, all of my insane theories were actually put together in the same exact character. So, the man in the mask turned out to be Jay Garrick, also his father, Henry Allen, also, et cetera, because of the actor they used. I got lucky. I won't lie.
So one thing
on the Mobius.
Well, we were talking about like the TVA agents and stuff. It's an organization filled with faceless bureaucrats. Most TVA employees are cloned from the same genetic stock to reduce disputes and improve efficiency. So that's how it is in the comics. So basically, like these characters, I think already have more personality than what we'd see in the comics from your normal TVA agent. Even though it seems like some of them don't really have much personality, or they just kind of they don't have many independent thoughts, I guess.
Like Roz?
Yeah. Like Mobius seems special.
Yes.
And I guess Renslayer to some degree.
Yeah. Renslayer's the only one who's not a drone.
She seems more aware.
Like even Mobius has he's got like this dry undertone a little bit, but she has all the personality in her voice. Loki Laufeyson, how do you plead? And then like the way that she interacts and talks and her personality, she seems to be the only person who's a real person.
Yeah, and especially shines through in the scenes with her in her office this episode, where it's like her walls kind of come down, but she doesn't have to be like parading whatever. She still has the power, but like she doesn't. It's not like it's over Mobius, not time criminals. So
yes. You have anything else on that one, David?
I do not.
Are we ready for the hard part? What about you, Julia?
What's the hard part?
Well, I meant to ask. I'm dyslexic, so I said the next line before I asked the previous line. Do you have any thoughts on any more thoughts on the Mobius of it all?
I don't know. I really like this character. I'm really enjoying him. I don't really know like what he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna be in the MCU more after this. I don't know where or what and or how. Maybe in Loki season 2 doing. I don't know. Like I imagine that's the most natural fit. But like it said he could maybe possibly be brought into movies, and I'm like, what movies are they gonna put him in? Like Ant-Man, maybe. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of announcements, like we did after Falcon, about what's next. If we're like Loki season 2 will probably be announced if that's happening, which I have a feeling it will. Maybe if certain people are in certain movies, or like if like they'll officially announce Jonathan Majors or whatever in Ant-Man, maybe if he's in this series. If he shows up here, they'll probably say, yeah, he's in Ant-Man. So
they did at Disney Investor Day, I believe.
I feel like they did, and then he said he's denying it now. So I'm like, what the heck? So he's gonna come out and admit it. So like a week or two, by the time like we're a couple weeks away from the show, and the show's over in less than 4 weeks, so we'll get this information pretty soon. Like what's gonna happen with all that next? I don't know. I'm excited. I don't know. I'm just really interested to see like what's gonna happen with this character. And I agree about the Loki comforting him scene towards the end. That'll be very nice to see. Because again, I really like their dynamic, and like I don't know.
Yeah, me too.
And I think Mobius does genuinely care about him, even though he was trying not to in this episode, or trying to get him like showing he doesn't, because he's shown care for people he doesn't even know in like other scenes. So I think he does. And even like if Kate Herron's kind of saying he's empathetic, he probably is. So I think he's ultimately going to turn out to be good in the end, even if like TV in general is evil.
Yeah.
One thing, same vibe.
One thing I was thinking about, Julia, when you're talking about the announcements, saving it for the end of Loki, something I tweeted out, I think it was today, was, is there a chance that they're saving the No Way Home trailer for maybe a certain part in Loki or after Loki? Like, could a No Way Home teaser trailer or trailer spoil some of Loki, similar to how they had to put out like a crappy teaser for Far From Home before Endgame came out that didn't really...
Still kind of spoiled Endgame. Like there was plausible deniability. Basically no, it spoiled that Tony died sort of, but there was plausible deniability because of that check signed in Far From Home, the check that only has Pepper's signature. But she's the CEO of Stark Industries, so we're like, okay, maybe. But then again, it hadn't been acknowledged in the MCU for a long time, so I'm like, did they forget about that? So it was like people were kind of speculating based on that. So it's like really, and then the Funko Pop shop, I'm like, like the happy with the check, and people were like, would Tony have signed that? So I guess that might have revealed something. I don't know if it technically did or not, but I had people thinking he died, so it kind of did the same thing.
Right.
So I am thinking a trailer for No Way Home is going to come like probably before Black Widow. I'm still thinking.
Me too.
Like, I don't know if it's going to spoil stuff or not, because it's Sony. It's not run by Disney. I've even talked to Brian at the Direct, because I was asking about like if like press for stuff that's not Disney, because right now our site at the Direct is only getting Disney stuff, and he's like, yeah, No Way Home is going to be Sony, so we'd have to talk to them or whatever. So it's like Sony's in charge of everything. They're in charge of all promotional materials. They're in charge of all this stuff. And they are known for spoiling things. So it's like but the thing is, I know it's frustrating because everyone's complaining about when it's going to come out. But when it comes out, everyone's going to be complaining about that there's too much given away because it's Sony, or not enough given away. Like, why did you make us wait that long for that? So it's like, it's just going to be more complaining. So, I mean, I don't care when it comes out, really. Like, honestly, I don't know. That's one press thing I'm really not looking forward to.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, people are going to be so annoying. And like, press isn't gonna know what to ask questions. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be like Civil War, where we know all the beats. Like, we saw Spider-Man, we saw them fighting at the end. They showed the end fight in the trailers prominently.
Yeah.
And like,
they got people in the seats.
I do think it's gonna come out before Black Widow. If not, then definitely like right after Loki. But I don't know. Yeah. It's Sony. It's not Disney. Disney will probably have to like bribe them if they really want to hide stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the new deal, there's a bit more coordination, and maybe Feige has a bit more of a hand in maybe the marketing. But even then, like Disney marketing controls a lot of that too. Like the directors don't really have a say in what goes out.
No, it's Sony marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
Spider-Man. And yeah.
So I mean, And Sony, they do have a track record of maybe showing a bit much, but honestly, so does Disney in certain ways. Like when you get a week out from an event or like a movie, all the TV spots and everything, it's like, oh my gosh. But
WandaVision's whole first episode was basically in the trailers.
Oh yeah,
he's one, because I guess they didn't want to show further stuff, but it's like, your whole episode's there. Like this would be surprising, be like, stop it, that was in like one of the first trailers.
Yeah,
I think like the big that episode. I'm like, oh no.
I mean, I personally can't wait for the No Way Home trailer. I think it'll come out before Black Widow, but that's like the only guess I have for when it's going to come out at this point.
Apparently, it's not coming out next week.
I heard that
Still
too.
no, whatever. So we'll see. Maybe a week after.
Yeah. I think it's coming soon. It'll happen. I'm not really in a rush, honestly, even though it's 6 months away and people are getting antsy. Like, let's just relax.
We've got how many other projects first too?
Yeah, exactly.
We have so many. We have 3 more movies and I think 2 more series, at least 1 more series after Loki. Because I still suspect, I think it will be 2 more series, because I still suspect one of Ms. Marvel or Hawkeye is moving to 22, because I don't know if they're going to want to have at the same time as Book of Boba Fett going on, especially if it's all on Wednesdays.
True. Yeah.
So, yeah. But the point is there's a lot before No Way Home. We even have another Sony movie, Morbius, which people are calling Mobius Morbius. So. Yeah. But it's not the same character. It's not a movie about Owen Wilson, guys.
Yeah.
It's a different character. Getting a movie. And I think, is Venom coming up before Spider-Man 2 as well now, or no?
Yeah. Well, Morbius is now.
Yes.
No, Morbius is now after.
Okay, so Morbius is now next year?
Yeah.
So it's Venom. Point is, there's still a movie coming up. We got and Suicide Squad with Warner Brothers. Like, there's so much before we got Spider-Man. Like, I know people are excited. I know people want to see stuff, but like, there's so much other stuff coming.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we just enjoy Loki right now? I don't even care about Black Widow at this point. Yes, a lot of that has to do with I probably can't see it in theaters, but like, I just want to enjoy Loki right now. It's fun. It's like lots going on. It's nice.
Yeah, see, they're not all Spider-Man is the issue, and everyone cares about Spider-Man. This guy included, and that's the thing. Like,
I like Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man.
Fandom. It's just so like everyone that's the most anticipated like project movie of this year.
People
still,
are anticipating more than Endgame, which I'm surprised by. But at the same time, I'm not, because it's Tobey Maguire and some people really want to see him again. And Andrew Garfield too. But I mean, the Tobey stands are scary.
I mean, I think, and part of it, I think too, is that we didn't get anything for like a year. And this certain, I mean, just the idea of what this movie could be, I think is just making people go crazy and want to see what's actually going on in a trailer. Even like more casual fans. I always try to like kind of ask my friends that aren't as into it as like, say us 3, and like kind of see where they're at with certain things. And it's like, oh yeah, like that would be crazy. Like that would be something I would totally go see like opening night or opening weekend.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I think it's going to do really well, especially because like, Pandemic will probably be done in more parts of the world, and maybe not everywhere, but like a lot of places. It's like the Christmas season movie.
Yeah,
it's coming up before Christmas, but yeah, it'll be like the #1 thing.
It's got that sweet like Star Wars slot. That's
Star
Wars
it's gotten that, and that's like and that's good because we haven't had that for we had the Star Wars, we had Aquaman, we've had that. We just didn't have that last year because pandemic.
Yeah,
well, we had Wonder Woman 84 technically, and that was in theaters, so that was it. I suppose that was supposed to be. I mean, it wasn't even supposed to be a winter movie, so we'll get. I mean, originally it was November of like 2 years ago. It's a whole thing. Anyway, it wasn't supposed to be a Christmas movie. But yeah, so yeah, Spider-Man gets it this year, and then it's like Avatar, between Avatar and Star Wars soon every other year on Disney's side. So we'll see. But yeah, next this year it's Spider-Man. Do you think it'll hit $1 billion or no?
Yes.
You do. Okay.
We'll see who's right.
The international box office is like already thriving over there in China and stuff.
Okay,
and
good.
by then, I think in the United States, I think it will hit $1 billion. Yes, because I think already the numbers right now are pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty decent. I haven't paid that much attention because again, it's not really affecting me right now. But
right, yeah, I genuinely think it will hit $1 billion. Now, I would say that now. Like 2 months ago, I think someone was asking me, and I was like, oh, I have no idea. But to me, it's trending that direction. I think
this seems to be one of the ones that even if it sucks, it still hits $1 billion because of like the hype and people have to see the crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Like if that's really it, and I just feel like everyone's gonna want to go see that one if they market it well and they show what's going on. And honestly, like I was just watching a movie over like it was like the Universal City Walk in Orlando, theater, and there was just so many people there. I'm like, oh yeah. I feel great about movies now. Like, I'm very curious because Fast 9 is already doing spectacular overseas, and I'm really curious how it's going to do domestically. Even though I heard it's complete garbage, people love those movies.
Yeah. I don't even watch that franchise really, but like I'm mad because we're not even getting it on like PVOD in Ontario.
Yeah,
and I'm actually mad.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll change it because I think they did it for Wonder Woman 84 because we don't have HBO Max here still. I think it's still only a US thing, so everyone has to deal with it differently. It was the same with Snyder Cut. I remember reporting on that. So Yeah, so they'll probably end up putting it somewhere because when is it supposed to come out? Like this month, in a couple weeks?
Yeah.
Wait, 2 weeks? I don't know.
A week from today. A week from today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, today's the 17th.
Yep. Yeah, I have my tickets
So,
for
yeah.
today.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to Loki timeline branches.
Everybody. Yeah.
I just enjoyed that tangent. I'm like, wow, I'm not the tangent guy today. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's very, very rare, show folks.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe by next week the Spider-Man trailer will be out. Probably not. I doubt it. But like.
So, does all the timeline branches at the end of Loki, does it make the multiverse? If the multiverse didn't already exist, it's you know, what do we believe from the TVA? Does this happen concurrently with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and No Way Home?
Well, I think No Way Home happens before Multiverse of Madness.
Hold on, I got a lot more questions, so just beware.
Okay.
It's supposed to be set before, but I get this feeling that actually Spider-Man and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness will happen together, but they don't worry about linear storytelling anymore.
Oh boy.
Again,
maybe
does
when you did it on linear during phase 3, but it wasn't everything that was like super connected. It was movies that weren't really connected to each other happening at the same time, and they did it during phase 1 as well. But these two are kind of connected to each other, so I don't know. Anyway, continue.
They said that they're not going to be doing linear storytelling, and they're not doing it now, technically.
True, because this is like
the way they're releasing
before WandaVision, but technically not.
Exactly. Does all the timeline branches actually set up What If? That would be a fun one. Does it set up the No Way Home trailer, which obviously that was a big topic we just got to. And here's my thing. Is this how all the Marvel films and shows from across time and memoriam that Marvel and Disney have the rights to get tied into each other? Because what would happen if something was changed along the butterfly effect of time? Say you remove one person out of a variance and that creates a whole thing. What would happen?
To answer your question about What If, no, I don't think this is exactly going to lead into What If, because What If was supposed to come out. It was supposed to supposedly actually possibly be either the first or second show to come out, like last year, in the first year of Disney Plus. So it would have come out before Loki, yes. And
I thought What If was always summer of 2021 because they've
for a while. Like originally when Disney Plus was coming out, they were announcing within the first year it's going to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier and What If. Obviously that didn't happen, and then What If got like moved again. And like the thing with What If, I think it's been recorded for like 2 years now. I think like it's been like in the can for a while. So I don't think it's, maybe they'll add something to connect it. That'd be cool. But like, I don't think it's originally intended to, but maybe, because like the watcher could with the different timelines. Maybe they'll unlock the timelines. I don't know. It's a lot, but I do think it might canonize stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now. So yeah. Anyway, David, go.
David absolutely hates that idea.
I don't hate that idea. I don't care.
That's hating.
I don't know if that's hating.
I don't care is hating.
Is it hating? I just don't really. It's not
definitely.
relevant.
It's definitely more.
Apathy is now hate. You heard it here first.
I would rather someone hate me than be like, I have apathy towards you. It's like,
I don't
wow.
know what I would rather. In some ways, yeah, I agree.
Don't even care about my existence. But also, I understand where you're coming from, David. There are certain people I'm just like,
I'm just talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm just saying I sympathize. I'm sorry, doggy. I did not mean to scare you. I apologize. You're cute. Keep laying down.
There's a dog. Cute.
Off camera, yes. All right. We have talked the horns off of Loki episode 2. So we're going to jump into the closing because it's getting to 2 hours and I'm really sweaty. Without, it's the hot season here in Florida. So
we got Loki and Deadpool as Lady Loki here.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Julia, where can everyone find you on social media?
Oh boy, so it's at Julia Delbel on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also on Tumblr if anyone's still there at Forever True Blue, just all big one word, or one big word. TikTok, I'm Julia Delbel as well. I'm gonna try and post more stuff in there. Like I posted an unboxing little mini thing there. I think that's kind of where I'm gonna be doing that kind of stuff now. YouTube is Julia Delbel as well. I've been doing less there, but I'm gonna try and start doing more there again soon. I have so much I'm doing right now, guys. I have school and it's in addition to all this, so it's a lot. But that's where you guys can find me. Twitter is probably the easiest place to contact me. And I'm on the direct and all the other sites too. But you can see that on my in my Twitter bio. I'm not going to list every site again. You did that earlier.
Yes. David, where can everyone find you on the social media?
Yeah, you guys can find me at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, at David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram. And go follow me on Twitter, guys, at David Thompson, 2 A's in the David. That's where I like to talk about most about the sort of thing and get into conversations and discussion amongst everyone and anyone. So go follow me there. Thomas, what about you?
You can find all of my links at Linktr.com/TCRochesterACT. That's TCRochesterACT. Of course, that'll get you to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, etc. website, IMDb, this show, that show, the other show, all the shows. I don't know where I just went in my head, but we got back to the plot. David, do you have anything to promote on this day of Thor's?
I've got a few articles Loki related coming out on the direct.com sometime soon, maybe even now. I don't know. I've been doing this. But yeah, go check all that out. I really appreciate it. Go check out Julia's work at the direct.com and all that good stuff. We've honestly, last week, I hadn't written anything. I was busy and I was looking at all of our Loki coverage and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're really doing a great job keeping up with questions and theories and stuff that everything I was possibly thinking of. We're doing a great job.
That's what I thought during WandaVision.
Yeah.
But yeah, all my stuff for the past month or so has been Loki. If you go on my page, it's just Loki articles. My direct page, it's just all Loki. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad put out more stuff so I can write about you because I'm excited for that.
Oh, that's so soon too.
Yes. Yeah. It's just gonna be bam, it's here right after Black Widow and Loki are done.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you all know, we're doing these here Loki specials. So you can come back next week, June 24th, at a time that is yet to be determined because I forgot to ask everyone before we went live. I know David has movie, so we'll figure that out after the show.
Okay, we figured it out today. You only told me 3 p.m. today. So
it's very true. We did have a last minute schedule change. So, and I'm 12% sure I'm off next Thursday. So
3 p.m.
Yeah, I think I'm good anytime next week. I mean, you guys don't need to hear this.
Yeah. So
we'll tell you when it's happening when we know.
Anytime next Thursday, we'll let you know when. And then, I hit the wrong button. Then after that, it will be in July, Loki 4. And we just have a list. We got a squad of people coming in. And I also forgot. I'm sorry, everyone. The question in the comments from Terry McIver from literally 20 minutes into the show.
Oh, boy.
With potentially 2 more Spider-Man appearing in Spider-Man and Tom being in the Sacred Timeline with the other 2 variants, who have we got as variants of other superheroes in the MCU? We've already had 3 Hulks. I think he means 3 Hulks in general. We've only got 2 Hulks in the MCU. Of course, we've got 2.
Well, we've got She-Hulk and supposedly maybe Hulk's son showing up in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I saw that. Well, yeah. I feel like he's kind of referencing other Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the old?
Oh,
version.
I see what he means now.
Yeah.
He's
Daredevil.
Eric Bana.
Daredevil's a good one with
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury, of course.
Oh God, we have to have that, right? Because then Peter Quill can be like, "Are you David Hasselhoff?"
Well, the best
Chris
one
Evans,
is Chris
Human
Evans.
Torch. We have to have him.
That's the best
and
one.
And Michael B. Jordan, Human Torch.
Yes, that's what that's what the people really want.
Yeah, that's
right
what we
there
actually
is them 2 meeting as Human Torch and being like, "Huh, cool," and then someone be like, "Cap,
what?
Who are you, kid?" I would love to see the Thor from the Lou Ferrigno movie of 1981, I want to say. Just because, why not?
Yeah.
You know what? Marvel, hire me. I'll play him. I'm short.
And then there's all the other ones like the Captain America who stole a car in that Captain America movie. And there's the Fantastic Four movie that never came out with all them. There's Spider-Man on the Electric Company who taught kids how to read.
Japanese Spider-Man, that actor is still alive.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a lot of variants that you could bring in. Is the Hulk from the Incredible Hulk show alive?
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, he could come in.
He's been in every Marvel or every Hulk film.
So we have 4 Hulks. We have Ruffalo, Edward Norton, that guy from the Hulk show, and the other guy from the other Hulk movie. And I don't remember his name, so I'm really sorry.
Eric Bana,
yeah. And Lou Ferrigno was the actual Hulk. He is still alive.
Okay.
Oh man,
what if he really took the serum? Awesome.
What if what if he that's what I want. You know what I want? I want him to come in as Maestro Hulk. Long gray hair and beard. Like that's what I want, right?
Yeah.
And they can CGI him up, like they could CGI him up and he would be extra big, because I don't know if you're weird tangent. I'm a personal trainer. So certain things that Hulk does are not muscle movements that are real in terms of how the muscles how the muscle fibers move. Specifically, and it's also in Thanos. It's more in Thanos that I noticed this, actually. Excuse me.
Okay.
When he's wearing the vest and he sits, his shoulders are extra. If you watch his shoulders when he's like hunched over, Thanos, there's some gaps in the CGI and the musculature because they make him bigger than Josh Brolin really was. With Lou Ferrigno, you wouldn't have to worry about that. You would just be like enlarged by 5.
Right.
You know, he's like 6'5", and he's still because I've seen him still jacked. I saw him in person, huge guy. He walked up to Edward James Olmos, aka Admiral Adama from Battlestar Galactica 2004, and he was like, "Oh man, it's good to see you, brother," and all this stuff. And I was like, "That's Lou Ferrigno. His arm is still as big as my head."
Yeah,
dude, he's like 78, I think. Like, he's in his elderly age.
Yeah.
So I want that Maestro Hulk. That's my one. Damn, it took a long way to get. We got there, folks. We eventually.
There we go. So yeah, we have a lot of variant possibilities. I'm sure there'll be. There's supposedly gonna be tons in Doctor Strange, so I'm sure we'll see a lot of them there.
Man.
Yeah.
Don't give me hope. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We've reached the end of the show. First off, Julia, thank you for joining us this week.
You're welcome.
Discussing episode dose of Loki. Damn, my laptop is very hot. Oof.
Working overtime.
Mine is too. Oh my goodness, it almost burned my hand just then.
And then as always, there could be no show without the Clark Kent doppelganger to my right. World famous journalist David Thompson, bringing the news and spicy webs. Thank you to Terry McIver in the comments and for all of his hard work behind the scenes with guests, socials, and research, without whom this show would literally be Bush League. You're my boy, Blue. It's a thing now. Thank you to HWWSWebTV family for supporting us, carrying us on the network, commenting along with us. Most importantly, thank you to our fans that join us weekly. Whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube,
or listening via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Spreaker,
we appreciate you spending your time with us.
Please like, follow, subscribe, drop us a comment, leave a review, and give us 5 stars. If you're feeling generous, we really appreciate all of that.
As always, I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
And I'm David Thompson.
I'm Julia Delbel.
Nice. Thank you for joining Loki Special of Lights Thunder Action. We'll see you next week for all time.
Always.
Au revoir.
Bye, everyone.